This is Dr. Eric Fishman for EHR TV, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Jeff Donnell, Chief Marketing Officer for NoMoreClipboard. And Jeff, thank you for taking your time at this very busy HIMSS10 meeting. Tell us about NoMoreClipboard, if you would, and I'm going to give you some more detailed questions in a moment, but just an overview of the company and how it came to be.
Sure. NoMoreClipboard is an online personal health record. The company was started back in about 2003. And actually took an electronic medical record system developed for clinical practice, put a consumer-friendly front end on it, and turned off a whole bunch of functionality that consumers are probably not ready for. But our focus is to certainly focus on the consumer and to make it easy for them to be able to aggregate, manage, and share their personal health information. But also, we took in the clinician, put the clinician in mind when we thought about building the product, so that we make it easy for the patient to share data so that it integrates into existing clinical workflow.
And you explained to me a few moments ago that you can interface with the physician's office forms themselves so that with agreement, you can even have your patient's data populate your physician's customized office forms. Explain how that works.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things we recognize is that while the holy grail is for all of this to be electronic, and that's what we're doing here at HIMSS.
It'll be a few years.
It will be, and right now, you've got about 80% of your physician practices that are still using paper forms. So rather than simply delivering the data on our forms, we can actually deliver it on the specific registration forms used by the practice, so that they don't really have a big change in their workflow, and in fact they get their own form, but it's going to be more legible, accurate, and complete than the same form filled out in the waiting room.
Jeff, if you would tell us about some notable milestones you've had in the last year.
Sure. The one that we like to talk about has to do with a tremendous adoption story at Indiana University. And quite often one of the knocks you hear about PHRs is, well, what's the adoption? Are people really using it? We put in a branded portal for Indiana University's main Bloomington campus last spring, and over the summer we promoted it to incoming freshman student. As a result, more than 40% of the incoming freshman class voluntarily created a PHR before they arrived on campus. And then, since arriving on campus, more than half of those students have used the PHR to share data electronically with the Student Health Center.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. It's fantastic, and we attribute it to two things. Part of it is college students who certainly want to conduct all their business online, and they can't understand why you would still do this on paper. But also helicopter parents who, when they send their sons and daughters off to school, they want to make sure that they're well-armed and well-equipped and they have the best of everything. And you put those two things together, and what we're learning is that college and university segment is perhaps the future of personal health records, and that's where it's going to start.
Now we've heard of, obviously, Microsoft and Google both have personal health records, and I understand that yours can be used in conjunction with that as a front end. Explain how that would work.
Right, sure. We actually have been collaborating with both Google Health and Microsoft Health Vault from the time they launched their products. And it's very easy to go in and create a linkage between a Google Health or Microsoft Health Vault account and NoMoreClipboard and exchange data. And we all bring a little something different to the party. For example, there are many patients who might have a Health Vault account, and when it comes time to share that data with their physician, who maybe is a paper-based practice, they don't have an easy way to get it out of Health Vault into that doctor's hands so the doctor can use it. That's where we come in. The patient brings the data into NoMoreClipboard, and then we take care of delivering it to their physician.
Very good, and I understand another business model, if you will, is that you can be a back-end patient portal for an electronic health record that may not have that functionality.
Exactly.
And just to further that, please discuss, if you would, the e-prescribing, the appointment scheduling, et cetera.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things that we're doing is we're partnering with EMR vendors who want to be able to offer not just a patient portal view into the EMR, but actually want to provide their patients or their physician practices who want their patients to have a portable personal health record. Right. So in this case, we can create branded portals for a physician practice so that the patient can create a PHR and use it for registration and send their data to the practice, and then it will come into their EMR. And we've actually developed an online tool set to be able to compare and reconcile data from the patient with data that might be in the clinical system. In addition, once you establish that secure connection between the patient and the practice, you enable things like online appointment requests, prescription refill requests,
billing,
online bill payment, all those sorts of things, and that's all part of the portal experience that we bring to EMR partners.
Is it fair for me to ask you the names of a few of those EMRs that you already incorporated with?
Sure. We work with Medical Informatics Engineering. We work with a company called Savacity, a company called Numetics, which is a diabetes-specific PHR, with Workflow.com. And then while we're here at HIMSS, we're actually setting up relationships with about a half dozen other EMR companies.
Great. What are you showcasing at HIMSS in particular, if I may?
Well, the primary focus at HIMSS is talking about our ability to help physician practices and hospitals and health systems who are looking to check off that patient and family engagement box that's part of the meaningful use criteria. So we actually have a product that is, off the shelf, able to accomplish that we've already successfully deployed with physician practices and a number of hospitals and health systems around the country, and that's where we're getting the most interest at this conference.
I would think so. I've mentioned two personal health records, NoMoreClipboard. How many do you think there are in this space?
It's funny. I did an intense competitive review about a year and a half ago, and there were close to 200.
I bet there's fewer.
Yeah, there are fewer now, and part of it is many of those PHRs were started as sort of one-trick ponies by people who maybe had a family member that was in a car accident and said, I've got to find a way to solve this. I've got to make it easy for someone's information to be accessible by emergency providers. Well-meaning, but quite often they didn't understand CCD and CCR and interoperability and all of those things. And we've, unfortunately seen a lot of competitors fall by the wayside, especially in the last 12 months.
How many do you think are left at this moment?
There are probably between 50 and 75. I would say there are maybe a half dozen of us that are serious
viable
players. Yeah. But we actually want to see this category thrive, and we hate to see competitors go away because right now it's still a new and emerging category, but things are changing. Whereas 3 years ago at HIMSS, the conversation was now, what's a PHR and why would I want one?
Well, 2 years ago, Google Health was announced at HIMSS, and
right.
From there it's been...
So now it's the conversation is, we know we need this, help us put one in place.
And I was actually speaking with one of those large company PHR representatives, and they mentioned that the more companies, just like you said, that are doing this, the better at this point in time, because it does get the word out that this is something that people should be interested in.
Absolutely. We're still trying to build the category. We don't have to worry about competing with one another right now. We need to educate consumers and the healthcare community on the value of this technology.
Well, Jeff, it's been a pleasure, and I thank you very much for chatting with me. This is Dr. Eric Fishman. We've been speaking with Jeff Donnell, Chief Marketing Officer for NoMoreClipboard. Thank you.